What's up, everybody? So we're back out in the shop with another Shop Talk Tuesday, and in this episode we are finishing the knife build that you saw in the thumbnail. So our goal is to get it to where it looks like it did in the thumbnail. I'm pretty sure that means we're going to be done with it. I hope, because we really only have a few more steps that we need to do in this build. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to work on that and get this thing knocked out. Show you how I did it. So what I'm using here to do my maker's mark is a little bit of vinegar with some salt in it as the chemical, and then we just have a little piece of cotton material, the negative side and positive side of a battery charger. Now this is a battery charger that's about 15 years old, so it doesn't have the safety things from the current ones, but it lets me go ahead and set it to 12 volt and then use it to etch my maker's mark. And this little blue stencil is just from a little piece of vinyl, and it was cut out with a Cricut, one of those little things that some of your wives might own, or you might own yourself. But either way, my wife, my mother-in-law has one, and they cut my little maker's mark out with it, and now I use it to do all of my maker's marks. Very low budget, very simple, easy to use. All we're doing is just putting it on here for about 2 to 3, maybe up to 5 seconds at a time. But it's nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. So we only took the bevels up to 120 grit on the 2x72, and I'm going to go ahead and start at 220 on the sandpaper and then go to 320. We're going to be using 2 different sanding sticks from Kyle Daly. One has one of his pads on it. This is just a rubber pad that helps kind of blend things a little bit, and then you have the regular one that doesn't have that, and it's going to give us nice sharp lines. I like these because they have a nice sharp edge, but then they also have a round edge. So if you need to use that round edge to get up into like an integral bolster or something like that, you can, or in the finger choil area right here, you can. But whenever you're getting up into a plunge line and you need it to be sharp, you're fine there. And then with the rubber pad, you can actually blend things real nice, especially if you have a little bit of a convex going on. I really like both of them. We're going to go ahead and start with this one right here without the rubber pad, and just start cleaning up those bevels and go from there. So now that we have all the hand sanding done and everything's cleaned up, we're going to go ahead and do the vinegar soak. And I'm going to let this hang out in here for about 10 hours. Let it do its job. It's going to clean things. It's going to take any of the rest of the forge scale that might be down on the little crevices and stuff like that off. And then we'll take it out, and we're going to end up doing a Scotch-Brite finish on it. You'll see that in the next clip. Well, this is after about 12 hours of vinegar soak. It's not going to be that dark whenever I get it cleaned off, but go ahead and use some Windex. And then we hit it with some COP. And a Scotch-Brite. And that's the finish we're left with. Just a nice, darker satin finish. So I went ahead and drew an outline of the tang. We're going to remove a good portion of this material before we glue it up so we don't have to do it afterwards. So now we need to go through and do a little bit of contouring. We're just going to do a facet along the belly, and then one here. It's going to be a pretty simple profile, nothing too complicated. I'm going to be using a used 36 grit belt, and I'm going to be using the slack section of it hanging off the side to do all the different little areas here. So now this is going to definitely be the trial and error part, because I want to keep some of this texture right here, but I also want to make a comfortable knife. I don't know if I want to file it down into here and just emphasize that texture or what, but we're going to start messing with it and then just kind of go from there. I'm using a round file that's about the same as these little grooves that are right here. Now if I lose the little bit of texture that's on the inside of this main texture, I don't really care. If that's still there in certain parts, fine, but I primarily want the ridges. So because of some little imperfections around the actual pinholes, I'm just going to say screw the red on it. I was going to leave the red in the center there, but there was just several things that I didn't like. One, I didn't like being able to see the area around the pinhole where there was a little bit of different discolorations. Two, if I would have left the red, this side would have been taller or thicker than this side around the front. So I went ahead and just ground down this little section right here to where it's even on both sides. So now it's even all the way back and it doesn't have a little bump up right here. And then I'm just going to go through and get rid of the red. If there's a little punch of it here and there, that's fine, but I'm just going to make everything even and clean and go with it from there. I'm going to show y'all a little bit of that, but it's just more of the same thing where I take the file and I just keep that actual profile going. So I'm going to have to go in here and I'm going to have to redo, because I ground it all out, I have to redo one of these grooves on here and keep the ridge looking good. So that's what I'm going to work on right now. So just so y'all know, all the belts right here, you can get these from Pro Sharpening Supply, but these are 600 grit, 800 grit, 1000 grit, and then I've got several leather stropping belts. We've got a 600 grit on here. We're just going to use the 600 grit and then we're going to strop it. Alright guys, let's go ahead and wrap this Shop Talk Tuesday up here. What do y'all think about this? I think it turned out really cool. I'm happy that I did away with that red stuff that was on here. I'm assuming it was like paint or something like that, but I'm happy I went away with it, and it actually looks super nice with like this chocolatey brown horn material that we have here. I'm going to let Matt Rich chime in the comment section and tell us what type of horn it was, because he's the one that actually gave these to me. But I think it turned out super nice. I'm happy that I got rid of that red, because it let me actually go through and make the symmetry a lot more symmetrical and clean everything up. And then I really like how the actual grooves and everything, the texture matches up. It turned out real nice with the black micarta pins. And then, of course, this nice Brute de Forge, kind of like kukri-esque knife that we have here. I really like the profile of it, too. So if you look at it, the handle comes right over your pinky and then dives down right at your index into the recurve. So that is just like a cool, comfortable blade. Really like how this looks. And It's got a nice distal taper through the tang. It's not like super crazy on the distal, but it is quite a bit of a difference. And then I actually tapered it when I forged it all the way down to the edge here in like the finger choil area. And then this is all rounded. And we have a nice fine edge. Nice profile. But guys, y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Do y'all like the way it turned out with the antler? Not really antler, but the horn. I mean, what's really the difference between horns and antlers? Y'all can tell me that in the comment section down below. But I think it looks super cool. I think it looks super sleek. And it is absolutely one of the most comfortable knives that I've ever made. Like, it feels like it's not going anywhere because of that texture that's on there. But there are no hot spots. It is just like a super comfortable, cool looking knife. Guys, y'all tell me what y'all think about it, okay? Now, that's the end of this Shop Talk Tuesday build series. Now, we're starting another one next Tuesday. We're going to be working on this guy right here. Now, we forged this in one of the live streams. This is actually one of the profiles that I have on my website. This is the recurve chopper that's on there. So, that's really cool. I'm going to go ahead, be finishing this. Now, in the Shop Talk Tuesday episode, we're, of course, doing heat treat and stuff like that, grinding bevels, all that fun stuff. So, be on the lookout for that. Guys, that's the end of this one, okay? Give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Y'all have an amazing day. Y'all stay safe out there. And I'll catch y'all on Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Time for another live stream. Guys, see y'all.